Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the InSlide Lane. I have my voice, Ellie. Um. So yeah, off from last week. Last week we were going to preview the Super DIRTcar Series, but we're going to kind of preview slash review the first race of the season for them, and then we'll talk about Fonda Speedway, which is my home track. I will be there this Saturday. Oh, pretty much my home track. I'll pretty much be there whenever I can, as long as my schedule works with me. But yeah, I guess we'll just get right to it. Do you want to kick off the Super DIRTcar Series with maybe the schedule, KEMMO?
Yeah, let me get that.
All right, so for the season preview, KEMMO's going to go over the 2019 schedule, and then we will also go, and then I'll take over for the list of full-time drivers that are in the series, and then we'll show highlights from the first race that happened this past weekend on April 13th at Can-Am Speedway.
Mm-hmm. So as TNT had said, the opening race was at Can-Am Speedway, April 13th. Race number 2 is April 27th at Fulton Speedway. Then for May, you have on May 7th, the Outlaw Speedway, Ultimate Outlaw 100. And on the 27th, they're going to be at Weedsport Speedway. June 25th, they'll be at Albany, Saratoga. And on the 30th, it'll be Cornwall Motor Speedway. Then you go into July, you have the Super Dirt Week qualifier at Plattsburgh Airborne Speedway, and then followed right up on July 4th, the Liberty 100 at Land of Legends Speedway. The 18th of July, they're going to be at Orange Fair County Speedway, and then the 22nd and 23rd, they're going to be at the Autodrome. And then on the 28th, it's the Hall of Fame 100 at Weedsport Speedway. The 30th, they'll be at Sharon Speedway, and the 31st, they'll be at Eldora Speedway. So a very packed July for them. Then going into August, they're going to be at Merrittville Speedway on the 5th, Ramsonville Speedway on the 6th, and on the 31st, Lebanon Valley Speedway. And then they go right into September with Utica Rome on the 1st. The 2nd, they'll be at Weedsport. The 6th is at Autodrome Granby. The 7th will be Lee RPM Speedway. And then the 13th is at Brewertown. And the 14th, which is a Napa Super Dirt Week qualifier, Mohawk International Raceway. And they close September at Albany, Saratoga on the 21st. And then they have 2 races in October at Oswego on the 9th. And on the 18th, it's going to be Brockville, Ontario Speedway. And the season closes out on November 7th through the 9th with the World of Outlaws World Finals at none other than the Charlotte Dirt Track.
Alrighty, and with the Super DIRTcar Series, they obviously, as Kemo said earlier, the Super Dirt Week, many drivers from all over the Northeast come up to Oswego Speedway for the whole week, and it's not just the big block modifieds in the Super DIRTcar Series. You'll also see different classes such as the 602 Sportsmen's, the 358 modifieds, and the Pro Stock divisions. And then yeah, so those 3 classes have their own little series through Dirt Car. They have their own little schedule, but the Super DIRTcar Series is the big blocks. So without further ado, we will get to the full-time drivers in 2019 for the Super DIRTcar Series. So we have Rich Scalata in the number 8, Brett the Jersey Jet Hearn in the number 20, the 98H of the Baldwinsville Bandit Jimmy Phelps. Matt Williamson signs a new ride with Buzz Chew Motorsports, I believe, if I get the team name right. He's driving the number 88 for them. And then you have the 7-time and defending Super DIRTcar Series champion and the 9S of Super Matt Shepard. He is this year in 2019, he is trying to win his 8th championship, which will tie for the most championships won in this series, which currently is being held by, this is a driver I said earlier, the Jersey Jet Brett Hearn. Continuing on with the full numbers is the 25 of Eric Rudolph, last year's runner-up in points. Then you have the Batman Peter Britton in the 21A. He is driving on his own for his own team, no longer with Graham Racing. And then we have the Gypsum Express team entry of the 99L of Lightning Larry White, last year's Super Dirt Week 200 winner at Oswego Speedway. And then Graham Racing's newest driver. You may be familiar with him in the Short Track Super Series. It is Anthony Perego. He'll be driving the number 18 for that team. Then you have the 19 of Mr. Tim Fuller. And then Mike Mahaney signs a contract racing for Nuttig Racing in the number 35 machine. Then you have the 111 of Demetrius Drelos, Double D as they call him. He is a rookie contender for this year. Then you have the 27J of the Doctor, Danny Johnson, also racing for with Graham Racing, his teammate with Anthony Perego. Then you have the 63 of the A Train, Adam Roberts, the 17 of Marcus Dinkins, the R2 of Rusty Smith, and then Ryan Godown will be driving either the number 5 or the 26 car. He is planning on doing both cars in this series this year. He didn't say which races he was doing in what car, so it's going to be up in the air with that. Larry White's teammate Billy Decker in the number 91 signed with the Gypsum Express team for 2019. Other entries that are expected to go full time that are not on the website here. We have the 2L of Jack Lehner. He's a rookie contender. Another one is the 37. He is a Canadian of Paul Saint Savour. I hope I didn't really bombshell his name right there. And then another one is a Canadian as well as the 99 of Mikhail Lebrecht. Again, I am terribly sorry if I pronounce those names completely terribly wrong. But yeah, so that is your expected full-time drivers list for the 2019 season at Fonda or at the Super DIRTcar Series. Couple of drivers that stepped away from full-time racing in this series. Stuart Friesen, obviously, he'll be racing part-time in this series due to his truck series schedule and other modified events he attends with. Another driver who stepped down from full-time racing in this series, he was a points championship contender last year, and he signed with a K&N Pro Series East ride with Hattori Racing Enterprises, is Mad Max McLaughlin. All right, so again, the series did open up on April 13th at Can-Am Speedway. And of course, we will show you the highlights just like we do with the Short Track Super Series. So I will share screen with everyone. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So green flag drops here in this race, and Larry White has tire trouble to start the race. And green will come back out. So Shepard gets the gun on Jimmy Phelps through the turns here. Shepard gets the high line rolling, and he takes the lead away. But here comes Jimmy Phelps going into turn 3, trying to get the lead. But Shepard's just too strong right now at the moment. He comes around turn 4. He will lead the lap with underneath the 98H is the 25 of Eric Rudolph. He's looking for second. He gets it into coming off turn 1, going into turn 2. And then we got the and then there's a battle for the lead between Eric Rudolph and Matt Shepard. Rudolph has it at the line right there by a tire, pretty much. Then Rudolph bobbles in turn 1, but keeps it strong enough to try to keep battle with Shepard. But Shepard, again, just strong on that high line as they head into turns 3 and 4. Shepard momentum, but Rudolph is not backing down without a challenge as he bobbles off turn 4, unfortunately for him there. And we have a car slowing. That is actually the number 1 of the Dr. Danny Johnson. Max McLaughlin was in this race, but he was driving Danny Johnson's 27J in this race. As we have a 3-wide battle, Tim Sears Jr. in the 83. Larry White's moving his way up to the field. There's Tyler Trump and Mike Mahaney with Jesse Mueller there. There's Max McLaughlin in the 27 car, as you'll see right here if you see my cursor. And Larry White is really marching through the field as he's trying to get back up to where he originally started. And Max McLaughlin makes a move on Gypsum Express team car of Pat Ward in the 42. And then we have a battle for, I believe it's third, Billy Dunn in the 49, trying to get underneath the 25 of Eric Rudolph. Coming off turn 2, Rudolph has the advantage. Then we have the 88 of Matt Williamson, the 3 of Justin Hares battling it out. Ryan Godown in that 26 car right behind them. And of course, Lightning Larry White trying to charge through the field. He's looking underneath Godown, but in front of him is Justin Hares underneath Williamson. As they come around turn 4, right now, Billy Decker has the advantage over Rudolph. Rudolph's trying to catch him with Billy Dunn right behind him, and Matt Williamson shocking the field as he's getting up closer to the top 5, I believe, in this point of the race. But he's got a hard charging Billy Dunn to try to catch up and try to get around as well. Of course, you see Ryan Watt there. And then the battle right there is between Pat Ward in the 42 and Ryan Godown in the 26. Godown just gets a bit too high and has to let it go. Here on the restart here, Shepard holds off Billy Decker in the 91 and Billy Dunn in the 49. Shepard gets a good run down the backstretch as Billy Decker's trying to hold on to second position, but Billy Dunn holds his ground. And Decker clips the Ute tire, and that pretty much wraps it up for him on the night. So tough break for the 91 of Billy Decker. And then, meanwhile, the race continued on after that caution. Billy Dunn and Matt Shepard battled out for the lead. But Matt Shepard switches down to the bottom and holds his ground, but Billy Dunn's not going to give it up real easy as they come off turn 2. Down the backstretch they run. It is Shepard still your leader as they head into turns 3 and 4. But meanwhile, we have debris, a tire falling off a car, but I don't think they show whose it was. As we go back to green flag racing with Larry White trying to charge up through the field. Once again, he's on the outside of the 14W of Ryan Watt with Pat Ward in front of Watt in the 42P. Again, Larry White and Pat Ward are teammates along with Billy Decker. So those 3 cars are teammates. But Larry White and Billy Decker are the full-time drivers, just so you know. And here is Shepard. I believe this is him coming around turns 3 and 4 for the final time to take the checker flag. Or maybe not. Matt Williamson gets by Billy Dunn. So the race is still continuing on. This is not the final lap or whatever. So Williamson gets by Dunn. This is for second. And Jack Lehner, as I mentioned earlier, has troubles. He's sitting on the backstretch. We get back to Matt Shepard. He's rolling into turns 3 and 4. I believe this is what the moment I was talking about. He comes around to take the checker flag. Yep, this is it. Shepard takes the win at Can-Am Speedway. And because this was a Super Dirt Week qualifying race, he is a guaranteed starter into the Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week 200 race at Oswego Speedway. And that pretty much wraps that up there for your highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so Want to go over the results for the race, the full-on results, just the feature or whatnot, like we usually do.
Yep. You just gotta find them on their site.
It's on results, and it's the first thing.
There we go. All right, so obviously, as we said, taking the win was the 9S of Matt Shepard. In second place was Matt Williamson. Third was Billy Dunn. Fourth was Justin Hayers. I hope I said that one right.
Yep.
Fifth was Pat Ward. Sixth was Larry White. Ryan Watt was in seventh. Mike Mahaney was in eighth. Ninth place was Ryan Godown. Rounding out your top 10 was Michael Maresca. Maresca. 11th place was Dave Marcellini.
Market Chili. I don't mean to interrupt you here, but Market Chili is a sportsman graduate. This is his first year up into the modifieds. So he's making a big jump. And actually, for his first modified race, 11th is actually a good start for him, especially in the Super DIRTcar Series.
I didn't know that. Really hard name to pronounce, too.
Yeah.
Jesse Mueller was in 12th. 13th was Dave Roscher. 14th was Peter Britton. Eric Rudolph was in 15th. Then it was Jack Lehner in 16th. Demetrios Strelos, I think I said that right.
You got it there, dude.
Wow, holy crap.
Demetrios Strelos, double D.
All right. Jimmy Phelps in 18th. 19th was Ryan
Arbuthnot.
There we go. Thank you. Billy Decker was in 20th. Then we had Tyler Trump in 21st. Rich Scagliata in 22nd.
Close enough.
All right. 23rd is Jordan McCready. 24th is Tim Sears Jr. Max McLaughlin was in 25th. Then Louise Jackson Jr. was in 26th. Tim Fuller in 27th. 28th was Janny Johnson. Rounding out the 29 car field was Lance Willix.
Unfortunately, they do not give us the drivers who did not qualify. But lucky for us, I actually have that list because I was actually paying attention to that race live.
Right.
I didn't get to watch it live. I was paying attention to the live tracker and their tweets and stuff. But entering into that race that did not qualify was Chad Phelps in the X car. Then Greg Atkins in the 1NY, Roy Bresnahan in the 02, Rusty Smith in the R2, Marcus Dinkins in the 17. So 2 full-time drivers right there did not qualify. The X27 of Kevin Poitras.
I think that's how you say it. I
said that right, did not qualify in this. And Andrew Ferguson in the 34. Then it's Paul St. Sauveur, a full-time series driver, did not make it. The 45R Preston Forbes did not make it. A-Train Adam Roberts in the 63 did not make it. And then another sportsman graduate, Tyler Thompson in the 98T did not make the show. Your heat race winners, 4 heats. Billy Decker took heat 1, Ryan Arbuthnot heat 2, Justin Hayers in heat 3, and Billy Dunn in heat 4, while your last chance qualifiers were won by Lance Willix in the 31 and Jordan McCready in the 9J. Point standings, I don't even know. They have, if you go onto their website, superdirtcarseries.com, and look at their point standings, I don't understand how they fully work it out because they have like 6 different ways of scaling their points, and it's so confusing. So I narrowed it down to make it so much simpler. I mean, you can go to the point standings and keep track of their own points if you want to, but for my sake, I narrowed it down to the DIRTcar Series only, which is a step lower from the Super DIRTcar Series. So like I said, the Pro Stacks, the Sportsman, and the 350 modifieds all follow this simple point structure format, which I will gladly explain. First place gets 75 points, and then it decreases by 5 all the way down to 6th, which gets 50 points. From that point on to about 11th decreases by 2 points, which 11th gets 40. And then after that, all the points decrease by 1 point all the way to last place. And I think they stop at 20 because if you do not qualify for the feature event, you get 10 show up points.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the race results in this one is your points. Race results is in this race was your point standing, is your current point standings right now. So, I'm going to follow along with that simple point format, but obviously, Super DIRTcar Series has their own thing and it's so confusing. If you guys want to figure it out, be my guest. You go for it because I've been following the series for quite some time now and I still haven't figured it out.
Mhm.
So, again, the next race for the Super DIRTcar Series is on April 27th at Fulton Speedway for the High Bank Holdup 100. Um, this event rained out last year, actually, so they didn't get to have it. So
Mm.
it'll be interesting to see what will happen this year, and hopefully the weather holds off for that. Anyways, trying to think. I think that's about it for the Super DIRTcar Series.
Yep, I think we covered it all.
Yep, of and then we got that covered. So now we have the Fonda Speedway, which has a new promoter this year.
Brett
Um,
Deo.
that's right. If you want to explain about Brett Day a little bit, because I think you might know a little bit more than I do, actually.
Not really. I'm fairly new to a lot of these series. I'm really only familiar with the short track super series and that. So I'm still sort of learning as we go.
Okay, so Brett Deo, who runs the short track super series, as Kemo mentioned, he is also the track promoter at Georgetown Speedway, which does not run weekly. It runs only special shows, if I remembered right. He's got connections with American Racer Tire and Sunoco Race Fuels through the Short Track Super Series. And with Deo taking over the promotion for Fonda Speedway for this year, 2020 and 2021, he is pretty much changing the landscape of this track. Season opener is this Saturday, tomorrow. Cross my fingers that if I keep on reading the weather reports right, it actually follows through. So I'll kind of actually I'll let you do this schedule on this one because I know I'm going to talk a little bit more about Fonda in
Okay.
general.
All right. Gotta find that one too.
And just so you guys know, the weekly classes are the modifieds, which is a mixture of the big and small blocks. If you don't know the difference, the small blocks is a 358 modified. Big block runs more horse and more power and stuff like that. But the 358s can run with the big block. So don't think if you have a small block modified, you can't keep up with the big block because you can. Trust me. If you got the stuff to do it, you got it. And the other weekly classes is the Crate 602 Sportsman, Limited Sportsman, the Pro Stocks, and the Street Stocks. And then there's the four-cylinder cruisers that are going to be making their appearances on some weeks, but obviously they'll have their own point standings.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm waiting for this to load up for me. All right, so while this is waiting to load on, one thing I wanted to talk about. So we talked about in the Super DIRTcar Series how Matt Shepard won the race. And this has really been a tear for Matt Shepard. For those of you who don't really follow the modifieds, a couple of weeks ago, he won Saturday night at Grandview Speedway. So that was win number one. He won the Bruce Rogers Memorial Moneymaker at Grandview Speedway. Then the following day at Orange County Fair Speedway, he won that race as well. So he made it 2 for 2 on the weekend. And then he kicked off the Super Dirt Series this season with a win as well. So this is really going to end up what could potentially be a breakout season for Superman. And I guess the question I want to sort of see, TNT, what you think, and I'll express my thoughts on it too. Could we see a kryptonite this season for Superman, or is it going to be all that 9S out in front of the field?
See, this is hard to tell because as if you guys didn't see one of my tweets I pointed out, and I tagged Race Stat Central in it, and I will as long as I can find that tweet, I will go over that. So far in 2019, the Super DIRTcar Series did run some preseason races in the DIRTcar Nationals at Volusia earlier in February of this year. They had 4 races there. The Super DIRTcar Series did, and Matt Shepard, out of those 4 races, got a first place, a second place, and 2 seventh place finishes. So he has not finished outside of the top 10, period, this year. Because with the Short Track Super Series in 3 starts, he has 2 second place finishes, both in the South region. Of course, the lone win is from the first North region race, which was at Orange County Fair Speedway, which is the first career win for Matt Shepard at that track.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find that tweet because Race Stat Central actually they pointed this out big time because they brought up some good stats behind this. I do have it. I know I do somewhere. Okay, so like I said, in 3 super or short track super series starts in 2019, 2 second place finishes and a win. Before this race at the DIRTcar Nationals, he finished 7th twice, a second place finish and a win. So far he is doing pretty well. And then they caught that, and then I tagged Race Stat Central, which is another big Northeast dirt stuff. They keep a bunch of stats, and they mentioned that consecutive wins in all events. Matt Shepard has 3. For Matt Shepard, consecutive top 5s right now in all events is 5. And then if you date back to last year, he is currently sits with 13 consecutive top 10s in all events.
Yep.
So if you compare with all that, I say we see another year of Matt Shepard, but the question's going to be, can he get through the fall portion of the season without having any humps or slumps or whatever you want to call it? Because last year he went through that and started to struggle, and where Eric Rudolph and Max McLaughlin were championship. And luckily for Shepard, he did well at Charlotte to keep the points lead and win his 7th championship.
But it was definitely close.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So I mean, I think if he can get over that slump and uses that slump as motivation, I think we could see a Super Matt Shepard domination in 2019 for the Super DIRTcar Series.
All right. I'm the exact opposite. I think that, I mean, he's like we talked about. We've seen it in the past where Shepard starts very, very strong, and he's a phenomenal wheelman. Don't get me wrong. No matter what, he's always going to be one of the greatest to ever drive those cars. But when you think about it, what really bites him is, as Taz had said, that fall swing. He almost gave up his championship last year as a result of it. And I just think that's been a trend over the past couple years that we've seen. You know, he starts strong. Everybody thinks, oh, championship easy. This is going to be the year of Superman. And then all of a sudden he starts falling off a little bit. Now, could he win the championship again this season? Oh, yeah, he can definitely win the championship again this season. I'm not saying that. But I don't think it's going to be a breakaway season for him like we're seeing now. I think we're going to start to see some of the challengers rise to the occasion. I mean, one driver I look at that's not necessarily talked about a lot would be Ryan Watt. I mean, phenomenal dirt racer. He can always catch fire at the right time and squeeze out a couple wins. And next thing you know, we're talking about a totally different championship battle. So I guess what I'm saying, you just never know. And it's just a little too early for me to say right now that it's going to be a breakaway season. So I think I'm going to give some of those regulars a chance to still.
And you mentioned the contenders too. You mentioned Ryan Watt. I mean, Watt's going to be more on the short track Super Series side. As far as the Super Dirt Car Series, I'm not sure what he schedules, what he plans and schedules for that. I don't remember seeing him announcing that or what he was going to do with that. But a couple of the contenders I could see getting Matt Shepard a run in the Super Dirt Car Series in general. Depending on how many races Friesen runs in, he could be that, but I feel like he's gonna favor more of Brett Deo this year, with Deo taking over Fonda. Um, but with a couple full-time drivers, I could see Eric Rudolph again becoming a championship contender. He did it last. I'm sure he's going to use that as motivation for this year. Another one's going to be the Gypsum Express teammates and Larry White and Billy Decker. Larry White last year was always a threat to win, regardless of what track he was at. He was the Super Dirt Week 200 winner last year at Oswego Speedway, like I said. And Billy Decker, now he's with Gypsum Express. And they got some good top notch equipment. I can see Billy Decker being another contender to run up there as well. Not pulling things away from Jimmy Phelps. I know he'll be good. Jimmy Phelps is running single car this year. He was teammates with McLaughlin last year. Danny Johnson's with Graham Racing again. He's got Anthony Perego helping him out. Unfortunately, shocker, Perego was not at Can-Am Speedway. Not sure what the reason behind that was, but I'm sure between Danny Johnson and Perego, Graham Racing can be a good threat. And if Matt Williamson can do something good for BuzzChew Racing, he's going to be another good one. But so far with what I've seen with Matt Shepard thus far, he is just phenomenal. And if he can keep that going for the whole season, we will see Kryptonite domination.
Oh, yeah. Not Kryptonite domination, Superman domination.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what happens as this season unfolds.
And I don't think he's driving the Sweeteners Plus 92S car either.
I don't believe he is.
Because at Orange County Fair Speedway, because the North Region runs sail panel modifieds, he did not race the 92S Sweeteners Plus car. He ran his own car, put sail panels on it. So either he bought the car from them or they came to an agreement, or maybe a contract expired. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have the page loaded up for you over there? Or?
I do. All right.
Alrighty.
So it's time to talk Fonda. As we said, tomorrow is their season opener. That'll be Saturday, April 20th, with the Sunoco Modifieds, $4,000 to the winner. Then we're going to have the 602 Sportsman's, $1,000 to win. The Limited Sportsman's, the Pro Stocks, and the Best of 8 Series and Street Stocks will be there as well. So definitely a packed night. Then next Saturday, April 27th, we again have the Modifieds with an $8,000 to win feature this time. Then again, the Crate 602 Sportsman's, Limited Sportsman's, the Pro Stocks will have a $1,000 to win race. Then we have the Street Stocks, the 4-cylinder cruisers. Then on May 4th, it's the Bob Hilbert Sportswear meet and greet night with the Modifieds, the 602 Sportsman's, which is $1,000 to win. Limited Sportsman's, Pro Stocks, and the Best of 8 Series and the Street Stocks. that's going to be an interesting one as well to see if the 44 of Stuart Friesen will make it or not, because that night he will be the night before he will be racing at Dover in his
Hopefully, I can meet
NASCAR
Stuart
truck.
Friesen.
Hopefully. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter at KEMMO Cup Series, I was able to meet Friesen a couple weeks ago at Grandview. So now we're going to try to get TNT to meet him again as well on that meet and greet night at Fonda. And hopefully we have something to share soon about him coming on this podcast with us. So stay tuned for that. Then on May 11th, Mother's Day, we're going to have free flowers for the first 100 mothers and a bunch of other giveaways there. Again, that'll just be a regular show if your Sunoco Modifieds, Crate 602 Sportsmans, your Limited Sportsmans, the Pro Stocks, the Best of 8 Series, the Street Stocks, and the 4-cylinder Cruisers. May 18th will be Dollar Night, where grandstand admission is only $1. And again, just a regular show, as I've read the list off many times already. May 25th, it's going to be a little bit of a special show. It's going to be the Patriot Sprint Tour Earl Holoquist. Is that how you say it?
I guess so.
Okay. It's going to be the Earl Holoquist Memorial. And then again, they're going to have the Sunoco Modified 602 Sportsmen, the Limited Sportsmen, and the Pro and Street Stocks. And that'll be ticket prices again. Adults 15, seniors 13, kids 11 and under are free. June 1st is going to be again a regular show, with the exception of the Mohawk Valley Vintage Cars will be there with a benefit for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that should be a pretty cool show as well, with the vintage cars tearing up the track as well in their expedition.
And
Right?
mentioning the vintage cars as the Mohawk Valley Vintage Dirt Modified Series, they have, oh crap, I think they have like 8 or 9 races slated. 2 or 3 of them are at Fonda, and I believe out of all of those races they have, I think only 3 of them are non-points races. So they have 3 classes: the modified, sportsmen's, late models, and then they have a brand new 4th class this year that has their own feature. Is the I think it's a vintage antique class. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look that one up again. But that's a series I'm going to follow as closely as I freaking can, because that is some good stuff to watch, because you can see cars that like our parents and grandparents watched when they were kids and stuff. So interesting to see what will go from there.
For sure. Then the second week in June will be June 8th. It's going to be a little bit of a different modified race. It'll be twin 20s, $1,500 to win both of them, so $3,000 total. 602 Sportsmen's, again, the Limited Sportsmen's, the Best of 8 Series, and the Street Stocks. June 15th will be the Bill Ag Memorial Modified Match Races with the Sunoco Modifieds, the 602s, which will have a $1,000 to win race, the Limited Sportsmen's, and the Pro and Street Stocks. And that's also Father's Day, so there's going to be a lot of fun giveaways that night as well. June 22nd is going to be a regular show as well. Nothing special on that one, except for the return of the Mohawk Valley Vintage Modifieds, race number 2 at Fonda for them. And June 29th will be again the Modifieds, the 602 Sportsmen's, with yet another $1,000 to win race, the Limited Sportsmen's, and the Street Stocks.
You're missing one little thing on that week right there.
Oh, I am missing something on that. The Honda Classic Pro Stocks.
For those of you who don't know, the Honda Classic is a special pro stock race in memory of Hondo Carpenter, who is a pro stock legend at Fonda Speedway. Unfortunately, a number of years ago, he died in a 4-wheeler accident. And the family of his decided to put together this race in his memory and everything else. It is a big race. Every year they put on a show. I think last year Kenny Gates won that race, and of course Kenny Gates is a dominating force at Fonda in the Pro Stock division, as you guys will probably see for 2019 when I for that stuff.
That should be a cool special on there. I can't believe I missed right over that. All right, where were we then? All right,
Yep.
Wednesday, July 3rd. So as I was saying, that will be the Focal Automotive Group Firecracker 50. $10,000 to win for the Short Track Super Series, plus the Short Track Super Series 602 Sportsman, $1,500 to win for that division, and it'll be show up points to both divisions. So even if you don't make it into the A main, you're still going to get points. July 6th will be an off weekend because of that special show on the Wednesday, so they'll have the Saturday off. They'll be back in swing on Saturday night, July 13th. That'll be the modified twin 20s, $1,500 to win for each. The 602 Sportsman's $1,000 to win, and then limited Sportsman's Pro Stocks, the best of 8 series street stocks, and 4-cylinder cruisers. And then July 20th is going to be the same regular show, and once again a return of just vintage cars. And on the 27th, you're going to have a regular show with nothing special for that. Another $1,000 to win race for the 602 Sportsman.
The 27th actually has the CRA sprint cars that night.
That's right, they do. I didn't see that one there. It was hidden right after the sponsor. So yes, the CRSA sprints will be there. So that's a very special series. They don't race often at Fonda, but when they do, it's always one hell of a good show. So that'll definitely be one that we're going to be covering here on the InSlide lane, and that'll be one that Taz, you're going to be so lucky to get to go to.
Yeah, I saw them last year, and actually, if you saw me on Twitter when I went to my local, well, I don't really want to say local because it's kind of a little bit of a drive, but you actually got to see the 2018 CRSA Sprint Car Champion and Jeff Trombley in the 3A yellow sprint car. If you have not seen that, I suggest you do.
Yep. August 3rd is going to be Dollar Hot Dog Night with the Sunoco Modifieds to 602s, the Limited Sportsman's Best of 8 Series, the Street Stocks, and the 4-cylinder cruisers. Then August 10th, one of the final weekends of racing for a while, will be 602 Sportsman's with $1,000 to win for them, the Limited Sportsman's Pro Stocks, Street Stocks, and the 4-cylinder cruisers, as well as the Sunoco Modifieds, obviously. Then they're going to go on break for the Fonda Fair. Obviously, they race on the Fonda Fairgrounds, so during fair time, no racing at Fonda Speedway. But they will be back on September 14th with the modified $4,000 to win. The 602 Sportsman's, the CRSA Sprints will be in action. The Pro Stocks with a $1,000 to win race. The Street Stocks, the 4-cylinder cruisers, and the vintage cars. So that's going to be a full night of racing. And then it's the one we've all been waiting for, the return of the Fonda 200, one of the most iconic races in dirt racing, is finally back at Fonda Speedway. That kicks off Thursday, September 26th with practice, and then Friday, September 27th is going to be the Pro Stocks, $1,000 to win, Street Stocks, $500 to win. Then Saturday, September 28th, will be the Fonda 200, $53,000 to the winner for the Sunoco Modifieds. Last chance races and 602 Sportsman, $1,500 to the winner will be held as well. So that is going to be a very, very cool one. The return of the Fonda 200, one of the most iconic races, and Brett Deo and crew finally brought it back to the track.
And so some of these races, as KEMMO mentioned in the schedule, the Crate 602 Sportsman's and the points paying schedule, the $1,000 to win races, there's 10 of those on the schedule. That is a sponsor bringing on that event. I'm not sure if they're going to hold separate points for that little series there. And same with the Pro Stocks, the best of 8 series. Obviously, that's 8 races where they pay a little extra in cash thanks to another sponsor that works with Deo to come on and bring that out. So again, 10 $1,000 to win races for Sportsmen's in the points paying schedule, and 8 special races for the Pro Stocks for the best of 8 series. I'm not sure if Fonda is going to hold separate points for that, but yours truly will be keeping track of that. Another thing I kind of wanted to bring up, I do believe, is the June 15th, the Bill Ag Memorial Modified Match Races. I got to witness that for the first time in person because I never knew what that was. I've always wondered, but I've never knew what it was about. So what they do for that is at that time, they take, I believe, the top. I'm going to say the top 8 in points at that current time. Um, they send them out, um, and they pretty much do like a ladder tree type deal. Um, they do like a 7th versus 8th place, or they randomly draw 2 drivers out of a bucket, and those 2 drivers face off. And I think it was like a 2-lap dash. Um, and they race side by side. And then, of course, once a green flag flies, it's all go from there. 2-lap dash, I do believe I remembered right. Winner moves on, and he gets to pick his next challenger. So whoever wins the first race gets to pick his next challenger, and it keeps on going until all 8 competitors have raced at least once. Winner gets special money, or the winner of each race, each head-to-head battle gets a little extra cash onto that. And Tim Fuller, right, actually currently holds the most money collected ever in that event. So, and I think he won that event last year, and I think he won it the year before too, if I remembered right. So he's one to watch if he can keep it up there at Fonda. And then let's see what else we have here. Like I said, the 4-cylinder cruisers are only there are going to be points paying races with the weekly classes, but they're only going to be in certain events. And then the night, July 6th, that Fonda is off. If you head on down the road to Glen Ridge Motorsports Park, they are racing that night, and that is the 50-lap modified sail panel race, which is a second annual event to the aftershock race from last year that Stuart Friesen dominated until he kind of got clipped from behind slash got caught up with lap traffic type deal. It's kind of hard to explain unless I actually have a video for it, which I sadly don't. But he dominated the event, led every single lap but the final 2 or 3 laps. And sad part is he took away more money than the actual winner because they're doing lap leading bonus money right there. So it was pretty funny to see that. Then, of course, the Fonda 200 weekend, as KEMMO had mentioned, Brett Dale brought that back, is one of the most iconic races in not only Northeast racing, but nationwide as well. And what I mean by nationwide here is I will go back to the Fonda 200 little segment here. It is it used to be a NASCAR sanctioned race. And it used to hold drivers like Bobby Allison, the 7-time, the King, Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, some of the biggest legends from Richard Petty, Bobby Allison era right there used to race at this track. And as a NASCAR fan, it is something even if you're just a NASCAR fan, not a fan of dirt racing, this is one of the events you definitely want to pay attention to because, I mean, like I said, one of the most iconic races ever. And I think the last actual event that actually got completed was back in 2003. And I believe 2004 and 2005, they were going to run it, but I guess they got rained out and canceled. But Deo decided, let's make this a weekend deal. Like KEMMO said, Thursday is the practice night and gets the camper and trailer parking, let some of the fans come in and stuff like that. And then Friday, we got the Patriot Sprint Tour. That's the modified qualifying heat races only. Then the pro stocks, street stocks, and then the 4-cylinder cruisers are there. Saturday is the last chance qualifying races, along with the sportsmen's sport Crete 602 sportsmen's are on the schedule, and then the obviously Fonda 200 race is on there as well. Now the only thing Deo did differently, he made this a weekend deal, is because of weather wise. Say for instance, it rains on Friday, the first night. Everything gets pushed back to a day. So whatever's supposed to happen Friday goes back to Saturday, and whatever's supposed to happen Saturday goes back to Sunday. If Friday happens and then Saturday rains, whatever's supposed to happen Saturday goes back to Sunday. So this is the reason why he made it a weekend, and he has Sunday as a rain day if need to be for that. So he is pretty much lucky for having that, and he did a fantastic job with that. So props off to Dale and the entire team for that. I and of course the point standings. You have to follow the American Racer Cup. They provide the point standings for Fonda. So let me see if I can find it here quickly. So here we go. The weekly point breakdown, since they're going to be part of the American Racer Cup. So each week, as we run through, the winner will get 60 points, and then it decreases. And then second gets 55, third gets 50. Now we decrease by 2 points for each position, all the way down to 16th that gets 24, then it decreases by 1 all the way down to 20th, which gets 20 points, and then it decreases by 2 points all the way down to 26th through 28th to get 10 points. And I believe if the field is smaller than 28 cars, or however many it is between 26 or 28, they're going to get 10 show up points regardless. So say they run a heat race, and I don't know, say they run a heat race and then they don't make the feature, they'll get 10 show up points for that. And then they also have a year-end starting field bonus on top of that. They're saying issue competitors once at year end based upon average number of cars starting a feature event participating speedways between Friday, April 12th and Monday, September 2nd. Bonus point breakdown is as follows. For 26 to 28 cars, it's going to be a 100-point breakdown. 24 to 25 is 90-point breakdown, or 90-point scale. 22 to 23 is an 80-point scale. 20 to 21, 70 points. 60 for 15 to 19, and 40 for 14 cars or below. But Fonda, as big as a track it is, I doubt they'll have a 14 or below car deal for that.
Yeah.
So, of course, we covered Fonda, we covered Super DIRTcar Series. The website names for those for the Super DIRTcar Series, if you want to follow along with them and know a little bit about them and stuff like that, their website name is superdirtcarseries.com. For Fonda Speedway, if you want to know more about one of my home tracks and stuff like that, I guess you can say their history and stuff like that. You can go onto their brand new website, which is www.thefondaspeedway.com. And of course, you can look up the 2019 schedule, pay structures, rules, points, the Fonda 200, how to contact them, their sponsors, and all of the history lists and stuff like that. Which I'm gonna go into there, and everyone's favorite in the truck series, Stuart Friesen, tied for fifth for most wins in the modified division with 54, and he has had 8 winning seasons. His first win was back is dated back in July 27th of 2010, and his last win was last year, 2018, on August 4th. So I'm sure Friesen's gonna definitely get fifth for sure, but right now sitting in fourth is the 2018 track champion for the modifieds is Bobby Merritt, and he will be back at the track again this year. So it's going to be a challenge between him and Bobby Varon for all-time wins list until they catch Steve Lape with 99 in third. So I definitely pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and anything you want to wrap up with?
I got nothing. Just make sure you guys give us a follow on Twitter at ManianDevil56 and at KEMMO Cup Series. We post a lot of stuff about racing throughout the week. That's basically our second jobs. So we enjoy talking racing with you. Be sure to hit us up in our DMs if you have any racing information. Continue the conversation over there on Twitter until we have our next episode. As we had said, tomorrow night, Fonda Speedway opener, so be sure to tune into that. I think we'll both be posting updates to our page on and off as to what goes on there, so be sure to give
Definitely,
us
because
a
I
follow.
will be there. Hopefully, I can meet up with a couple people, especially with on NASCAR low teams that we work with. So,
Yep. But other than that, and this has been KEMMO and TNT with the InSlide lane. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.